You know, many years ago, a long time ago, you heard of Richard Dawkins, that famous atheist from England? Richard Dawkins, years ago, we had somebody, this video is a bit scratchy and the volume's not real good, so we're going to work with it a bit for you. But years ago, he was asked a question, Dr. Dawkins, can you give one example, just one, where we see matter producing information? Keep in mind, according to evolutionists, matter had to produce information zillions of times. So it should be a law of nature, it should be obvious. So give one example. Listen to what he said.
Professor Dawkins, can you give an example of a genetic mutation or an evolutionary process which can be seen to increase the information in the genome?
Listen carefully, don't miss his answer. He gave the right answer. That's my favorite part of the video, by the way. You know what, we've got to see it again. You've got to see us again, because I want you to hear Richard Dawkins, because you might have missed it the first time, so I don't want you to miss it, I want you to hear it.
Professor Dawkins, can you give an example of a genetic mutation or an evolutionary process which can be seen to increase the information in the genome?
Now, he couldn't give one answer. It should be obvious. There's millions, zillions of bits of information. Now, you might say, okay, that was 20-odd years ago. What would he say now? I'm glad you asked me that question. How many of you saw the movie Expelled? Only a few of you. It's a very interesting movie, narrated by Ben Stein. But Richard Dawkins was interviewed in this, and Richard Dawkins was asked a similar question. And this movie came out just a few years ago. He was asked the question about, do you think, intelligent design, do you think there's a designer behind life? It's sort of the same sort of question. How do you account for life? How do you account for information? Listen to what he said.
What do you think is the possibility that intelligent design might turn out to be the answer to some issues in genetics or in evolution?
It could come about in the following way. It could be that at some earlier time, somewhere in the universe, a civilization evolved by probably some kind of Darwinian means to a very, very high level of technology and designed a form of life that they seeded onto perhaps this planet.
Oh, that's the answer. Aliens. How do you explain the evidence of intelligent design? Aliens. There were aliens that brought life to Earth. Oh, okay. Where did those aliens come from? I guess there had to be another planet with aliens that brought life to that planet so they could bring life to this planet. Where did those aliens come from? Well, there's going to have to be another lot of aliens somewhere who brought life to that planet, who brought life to the other planet, who then were able to bring life to Earth. Well, where did those aliens come from? Well, I guess you know what? He'd be happy to believe in eternal aliens, but he won't believe in an eternal God. Doesn't that tell you something about these people? See, and where did matter come from? How many of you saw the Bill Nye debate, just for interest? You remember, and a lot of you did, that's great. You remember when Bill Nye was asked the question, where did matter come from? And his answer was, we don't know, it's a great mystery. And then the moderator said, Mr. Ham, what's your answer? And I said, well, Bill, there is a book. There is a book that tells you where matter came from. In the beginning, God. See, what's Bill Nye going to believe in? Eternal matter? He mocks at an eternal God, but he's going to believe in eternal matter. Well, then where did matter come from? How did it even come into existence? You know, if you think about it, another thing that I said to Bill Nye was, how do you account for the laws of nature? Because we believe in the laws of nature. They're the same today and they'll be the same tomorrow. The laws that govern the universe, the laws by which things operate. If it's just a random universe, how did they come about? Did they come about by random processes? How do you know they're going to stay the same? Why would they even exist? How do you account for the laws of nature without a biblical God? He couldn't answer the question. It's a great mystery. He doesn't know. But how did they come into existence? Where did they come from? People, the only thing that makes logical sense is in the beginning God. Nothing else makes sense. Why do we even believe?